Well, good evening, everybody. I'm excited to be here tonight with you all. I was really kind of excited about Allan's training he did on the Wisdom Builders on Friday, and what was really cool is he talked about Jim Rohn. And some of you know I've been, with Neolife for 35 years, and my upline, Al and Elise, they were quite elderly when I started my business, and it's kind of scary to say this, but when you're in your 20s, 60s seems old, and they were in their 60s. And I'll never forget, one of Al's mentors was Jim Rohn. And he used to always talk about some books and cassettes. Okay, guys, cassette tapes, and later came CDs. And I remember listening to Jim Rohn's training on sowing and reaping, and Allan kind of pulled some of this information in his talk on Friday. And we've been having many conversations on what does it take to be successful in this Neolife business, in our business, and really any business when you're dealing with sharing information or trying to get somebody to take a look at what you're doing. And I think it takes a special person to keep at it and to keep going and to not give up and to be persistent. And there has to be a burning desire. There has to be a big why. But you also have to have the right mindset. And I love the way Allan takes us through this example. Okay. And then later I'm going to send you, you could even Google it, the Jim Rohn Building Your Network Marketing Business. It's a very old training that he did, and it just kind of covers a little more deeply what Allan is going to share with us tonight. We can have a conversation around this when he's done. So here we go.
So it's about the law of sowing and reaping. All right, the law of sowing and reaping. And again, you can find the story in Matthew chapter 13, Mark chapter 4, or Luke chapter 8 if you want to go read more detail in it. I'm just going to do a high level overview of it, but there's 2 points that really stand out to me. There's a lot that stand out to me. There's 2 points that I want to bring out maybe today. One is, in this story, the sower was sowing seed, okay? And the seed fell on 4 different types of soil. And the thing that stood out to me is that the sower was very ambitious. The sower was ambitious, and the sower wasn't easily distracted or waylaid or discouraged even. And so that's the first point that I kind of want to stick in your mind as we go through this. The second point is, the sower had a really super amazing seed, like the best seed. The best seed. It was the good news of the gospel, but I'm going to tell you, it was the best seed. And the parallel here, you're like, what does this have to do with our business? Is you've heard this said before, but we really are sowing seeds. We really are sowing seeds in this business. And some seeds sprout and some seeds don't, and some seeds produce fruit and some seeds don't. Some seeds fall on deaf ears. People have to be willing to participate in their own rescue. We can have all of the best, solutions in the world to their problems, but if they're not ready for a solution, it doesn't really matter. So it can mess with our heads sometimes. I've told people many times, the toughest part of this business, you want to know what the hardest thing is? In my opinion, the hardest part of this business, simple business, but the hardest part is knowing you have a solution to somebody, for somebody financially, the community they're dying for, the purpose and passion for doing something meaningful, a passionate pursuit that they could actually live for, instead of mind-numbing work 8-10 hours a day that they have no passion in. For a lot of people, that's the case, right? Health solutions, but they won't participate in their own rescue. They either don't see the value or they just aren't willing. They just aren't willing to do that. So here's the point is, we have excellent seed. We have excellent seed. We have the best product. We have the best income opportunity I have ever seen for an ordinary person to live an extraordinary life. Bar none. Absolutely. If I didn't believe that, if I thought only the cream de la cream could succeed doing what we do, and enjoy the life that we live, I'd have a hard time selling it. But I believe at my core, every single person, without some kind of, again, my disclaimer is some kind of mental, deficiency or limitation, maybe, yes, there's probably a very small segment of the population that can't succeed in this business because of, I don't know if the word's disability or what the correct word would be, but for the most of us, for all of us, we all can. And so that's why I'm so passionate. So the sower was ambitious. He had excellent seed. And now we have an excellent product. We have an excellent business. We have an excellent story to share. Our challenge has been sharing our story. So anyway, here's the story. So the sower goes out and he starts sowing the seed. And it says some of the seed fell, the first scenarios, 4 scenarios, some of the seed fell by the wayside or by the path. And what happened to that seed? It says the birds ate it up. Now, I don't know if I can share. Betsy made these amazing little slides. I don't know if I can go back and forth very well. But if you need a visual, there you go. That's what happened to the first set of seed. The birds ate it up. And, so if you're taking notes, the first note is, hey, the birds are going to eat some of your seed. And you say, but why? What do I do? So, you say, well, what does that mean? How's that play? Here's an example. Mary said, yeah, I'm open to totally open to this weight loss solution I need, or this, other health solution I need, or yeah, I'm totally open to this income opportunity. Well, great. If I sent you a video, would you watch it? Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll watch it. Yeah, I'm so excited. This is awesome. I'm so excited. And Mary, you follow up. Mary never watched it. Mary doesn't answer. She didn't even respond. It's like, how do you go from being so excited to you won't even reply to my text? I don't know, but I know the birds are going to eat some seed because I've read the parable of the sower. It is what it is. It doesn't say why. It doesn't say to sign up. I love Jim Rohn goes, you might go, well, why? Why is that? He's like, don't sign up for that class. Don't ask why. The birds are just going to get some. So now you have 2 choices. Chase the birds. Let's go chasing the birds away. And what does that do? If you chase the birds away, I'll go figure it out. Or if someone talked negative to somebody, let me go set them straight, or let me go get their head squared away, or I'll convince them if it kills me, right? But if you go chase the birds away, you leave the field. And guess what? In the field is more opportunity to plant more seed. And there is good soil out there. And we'll get to that. All right. So we just have to understand, as Jim said, it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Some are going to do things like I shared on a call recently. Like, we're all strange. Humans do interesting things and will not always be able to know why. So don't worry about the why so much. Okay. But here's the thing. The secret to the sower's success is he kept on sowing seed. He kept on sowing seed. He didn't quit. He kept sowing seed. And if you keep sowing seed, this is what I can almost promise you, is you can sow more seed than the birds can get. If you keep walking and you keep sowing and you keep putting one foot in front of the other, you can sow more seed than the birds will get. All right. So the sower keeps sowing seed. And now some of the seed in the second scenario of the 4 falls along the rocky soil. And in the rocky soil, there's some soil mixed with a lot of rock, and the seed sprouts. The seed sprouts, and we get excited. We've got life. This is so cool. Man, I got my first promoter. And Hank says he's going to kill it, man. He's got a network. He's this, he's that. He's telling me how great he's going to be. He's going to be my next core rank. In a heartbeat, it's going to be so exciting. And it's so exciting for a moment until it's not. And a week later, or 2 weeks later, or a month later, we're like, where did Hank go? I mean, is he in the witness protection program? I don't see him on the calls. He doesn't show up to events. He doesn't return my calls. What happened? So weird. I don't understand. And what the parable says in this rocky soil is that some of these will sprout. There will be life for a moment in time, and the hot sun's going to come out the first hot day that puts some intense heat on this little growth. And because it doesn't have deep roots to get water. And because it's in that rocky soil and it's having trouble getting deep roots, it withers and it dies and it's gone, right? And so we ask, well, why? I'm a bad leader. I did something wrong. And maybe we did. But the parable doesn't say that. But we ask, like, oh, what in the world? What did I do wrong? What could I have done differently? And not that it's bad to ask that. But some of these things we will never know. We'll never know. But what we do see is that the hot weather is going to get some because some just don't have deep roots. Okay? So what can we do about that? Maybe nothing. But you see, again, the sower just kept sowing seed. And we get to the third category or the third scenario in this. And so if you're writing notes, the hot weather is going to get some. The rocky soil is not great and it can't withstand the heat. Okay. And that heat could be what other people say. You joined one of those things. Don't you know? I know my cousins, uncles, neighbors, half brothers, cousins, nephews, bosses, sister tried one of those things and they didn't make any money. Oh, and they're gone. It happens. But we can't let that discourage us. And you look at the parable of the sower and they didn't get discouraged because some growth that they got excited about withered and died. They kept sowing seed. And so you come to the third category. And by the way, I love how Jim says you have to learn to discipline your disappointment. I talked a little bit about this at retreat. This business has some high highs and some low lows. You have to learn to discipline your disappointment and keep doing the next right thing. Because other people are on their knees, literally praying for the miracle we have in our mouth. And we have to not forget this. Just because someone does something weird doesn't mean there's not plenty of other people out there that just don't know what they don't know. And they are waiting for you or me to come along and share this with them. All right, so here we go. So the third category, you can write this down, is the thorns are going to get some, okay? So what happens in this scenario? This says the sower keeps sowing and he sows some seeds. They sprout up. But what happens to these little plants is they're mixed with so many thorns that the thorns end up choking it out and it ends up dying. And, it's like, John said he was going to show up at the meeting. John said he was going to come to retreat. John said he was going to do this, that, or the other. And what happened to John? I don't know what happened to John. I'll never know maybe what happened to John, but I do know the thorns are going to get some. I hate it. I don't like it. I feel sorry for the scenario, but to understand that is the reality. It's the distractions. It's the cares. Someone said they were going to show up for an event. They didn't. You follow up and they're like, oh, yeah, well, the screen door fell off. You can't just leave for an event with the screen door off in the backyard. And then I noticed the garage was a mess and you can't just leave with trash in your garage, and you hear all these different things and but the kids this and the this, that. And it's like, and you want so bad, like to help them see, I had someone tell me yesterday, they said last year they were going to launch their business in January. So I followed up with them about a week ago. And I'm like, hey, did you change your mind or did something get in the way or is there anything I can help with or whatnot? And, are you still planning to, or did you, and I didn't notice, or did you change your mind and it's just, you're not going to do that anymore. And that either way, it's fine. Just wondering if I can help. And like, oh, no, we're still going to, it's just that now she's pregnant and we've got a baby coming in September or October. So probably after the baby's born, we'll have more time. And I'm thinking, really? We'll have more time after the baby's born? But that's what we can think. We can think, well, once summertime comes, I'll have more time. And you're like, whoa, you know what? Once the kids are back in school in the fall, I'll have more time. You know what? After the holidays, I'll have more time. And then it's like, whoa, it's winter time, man. We can't miss out on snowboarding. No, in the spring, we'll have more time. But that just never, does anybody relate? Like life doesn't really slow down. More kids getting older. I guess grandkids I haven't had yet, but I'm just guessing life probably not going to slow down. But, that's what happens. Some people are going to give all these excuses and we're like, hey, the thorns, the cares of the world, other things, distractions, choked them out, choked out their dreams, choked out their hopes, choked out their vision, whatever the case may be. And we can't really fix that. And to accept it is is kind of helpful sometimes, especially when we know we can follow the sower's example and keep sowing seed and keep sowing seed. And as you read to the story, it says that if you're writing this down, finally, the seed falls on, it calls it good ground or good soil. Where, and by the way, if we keep sowing, we will always find good soil eventually. And if you share an idea long enough, you're going to find someone, it's going to fall on someone's ears that they're going to see the vision of what we're sharing. Now, I want to say something real quick. This is not an excuse to be sloppy. And this is not an excuse to like be lazy in the way we communicate and not want to grow in our communication skills and in our vision and our ability to communicate a vision better and our ability to be positive and enthusiastic and all the things that stack the deck a little better in our favor of seed falling on good soil. So I just want to say that some of us need to hear more of that message because we're throwing a bunch of seed and nothing's growing. Maybe that's the message that someone really needs to hear today. But I think there's probably plenty of us that also need to hear the message of, I can't throw two seeds out there. One got ate by the birds. One got, choked out by the thorns. And I'm wondering what's wrong with me. Maybe this business is not for me. Maybe I'm not cut out for it. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. If that's you, this is the message we need to hear. We need to sow more seeds and just get to the good soil. But it says finally the seeds that fell on good soil, some of them did 30%. Some of them did 60%. Some of them did 100%. And you say, well, that's exciting. Why do some do 30 and some do 60 times and some do 100x? Like I want everybody to do 100x. How do I get the 30x to do the 100x? As Jim said, don't sign up for that class either. I mean, there is things we can do to lead better, and we can always help people do more, or at least give them an environment where they can do more. So again, that's another talk. But the fact of the matter is, some are going to do 30, some are going to do 60, and some are going to do 100. So let the 30s do 30s, and let the 60s do 60s, and let the 100s do 100. I don't know who needed to hear this morning, but I know I need to hear it. I wish I could do it with humor and the great way Jim Rohn did it. But if you want to hear this done even better and a lot more good stuff again, and you haven't heard it, or you've heard it 10 times, 12 times like me, and you want to hear it again, Building Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn, YouTube it. It's amazing. It's an hour and 6 minutes, I think, is what it is, or hour and 7 minutes. I want to close this part actually by Dwight. Anything you want to add to anything I shared though before we kind of start to wrap the call up?
No, I mean, bottom line, there's a 10-minute one too, Allan, that Jim Rohn does that's absolutely incredible. So if you don't have time for the hour, there's a 10-minute one that's really good. But you mentioned earlier handicaps. And I know sometimes in our mind, we create our own handicaps. We create our own why I can't do this. And so I just want to encourage people that one of my favorite stories was one my uncle told when there was a young boy who wanted to sell Bibles. And he came to get Bibles and he wanted to sell the Bibles, but he had a horrible stutter. I mean, horrible. And the sales guy goes, this kid can't sell a Bible. He can't even talk. Like he can't even ask for the Bibles. And the manager said, you know what? Give him a box and you'll get rid of him for life. Just give him a box and he'll be gone. It'll be easy to just get rid of this young man. Well, that young man left and about an hour later came back with empty box said he need more Bibles. And they're going, what in the world just happened? And he said, well, it's easy. When they open the door, I ask them, do you want to buy a Bible, or do you want me to read it to you? And he took his weakness and he turned it into something that was a strength. And he said every single person he did that to bought a Bible. And he said some of them bought two. And so to me, it's using our handicaps to our advantages, recognizing our weaknesses and making them into a strength. Other people will resonate with your weakness quicker than they're going to resonate with your strength. And so that's just something to encourage. And what you said earlier about don't chase birds, I've been guilty of that, chasing birds that took my seed, and I'm going to go get my seed back out of the bird's mouth. And, it's way easier just to plant more seed because the fertile soil is out there and it is going to yield awesome. Allan, sorry, back to you.
Yeah, so good, so good. So I didn't share these amazing slides, so I'll just go through them real quick in about 10 seconds here, just so you can see them, because Betsy made them and they're worthy of seeing. But if you just want a highlight of what we just talked about here, there's the 4 areas. The birds are going to get some, right? The hot weather is going to get some. You can think of scenarios, right, where this plays out. The thorns are going to get some. They're going to get choked out by the concerns and other distractions, maybe. And finally, there's going to be good ground that some will produce 30%, some will produce 60%, and thankfully, some will produce 100%. I wanted to end with this, and that is 2 things. This week's challenge continues to be sharing your story. So please drop that in the Telegram chat as you get opportunities to share your story, however many times this week between now and next Thursday. But what I really wanted to make sure everybody is aware of that we're really excited about is Monday.
Okay, I'm just going to stop here only because that's their challenge they're doing in their own team. But Neo Life is even having a challenge. I know many of you texted, who texted Stephen after the leadership call on Monday? Heather, Sean, Ursula, anybody else? Anyways, it's pretty exciting to have some of you guys text Steve, because I think when you put it out there and you set that goal, you'll get there so much faster, because now you have to be accountable, right? For some of the things that you're going to be doing over the next month. So really excited. You can unmute yourselves now, I think, if you guys want, unless you're going to be noisy in the background. But I also wanted to talk about the story issue as well. Actually, you know what? Maybe some feedback on what Allan talked about. How did that hit you guys? Anybody listened to that before in the past, like the YouTube? Yeah, Cindy?
Yeah, I had, and I always loved it. And like Allan said, you want to keep re-listening to it, because you do need that reminder that it's not necessarily you. Yes, we can always keep on improving, but it's not you. And yes, chasing those birds. Yeah, that's me.
Heather?
Yeah, I was going to say a similar thing. Them chasing the birds is got to be just a total waste of time. Saps your energy, and meanwhile you're neglecting the good ground or the possibilities that are out there. So that's really a great reminder. And me, it kind of very much similar to the lessons around controlling the controllables. Like that's what we can do, and letting go of the uncontrollables. What's happening in somebody else's life, we can only be there and manage our own thoughts, words, and actions.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Heather. I like that. Control the controllables, and what else did you say? And then just let go of the uncontrollables, or
yeah, let go of the uncontrollables, like those birds that are flying away. It's that is not within your control to get those birds back in the pack.
Yeah.
But you can do other things. I like what Allan says. Like it's not making excuses and not saying, oh well, you can be lazy and it just happens that way. No, there's still lots of things that we can manage to be a better leader, to be a better promoter.
Mm-hmm. And staying in this community, I think it's really important to stay plugged in. So I think if you veer away and you think, oh, I can do this without this kind of thing where you're getting together, you're gathering weekly, you're sharing, you're to keep that energy and that positive. Like I remember when I started, I never missed a meeting, and I had to drive to all the meetings, guys. And it's sometimes in snowstorms and ice storms and rainstorms. And after working 10-hour shifts and 10-hour, like I just went to the meetings because I knew that, staying plugged into the community. And here we've got this amazing community. You can zoom in from home. Right. And it's so important to stay plugged in, and events like, when Ashley's comes, next week, and, when Stephen comes. So when we have these major events, those are the things also that help you stay strong to overcome, the no's and the people that that say, oh, I'm coming. And then they don't show up. Right. And it happens to all of us. I don't want you to think it doesn't happen to me. And yes, I've been talking to people like crazy all week, but not everybody's coming on board. But if I can get 3, like my goal that I've been doing every month since I've made this commitment, is because I've talked to 20, right? So it's really important. It really is a numbers game. And you just got to get comfortable. And I love Sean today said that she was going to, what your challenge you're going to do today is just go to Shoppers Drug Mart and just talk to people, just start conversations about lip gloss or, anything, compliment. And you said, even, saying something like, you know what, you seem like somebody that really likes to take care of yourself. Right. Or there was another line, Sean, that you said. What was the other line that your coworker said?
I wrote it down. You strike me as someone who takes time to invest in their health and well-being, or who prioritizes your health and well-being. So I'm actually going to do this one day this week, as long as I can get out of work. So I'm gonna for tomorrow at lunch, I'm gonna try, as long as my day is my own, but I'm gonna try.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's fun. And it's funny because I went to 4 different grocery stores today. And that's where I've met two of the contacts that I'm going to be talking with. And they've actually answered my texts and they watched the videos. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So you just never know. You guys got to put yourself out there and just start conversations with people. Right. Anybody else?
I like the line that Allan said, the secret of the sower's success is that he keeps sowing seeds. And that reminded me of what Jerry Brasfield said. I don't know where I heard him say this, either at the summit last year or on a YouTube. As long as you don't give up, as long as you never give up, you will eventually succeed.
Yes.
You just have to not give up. So yeah, that's sort of the same principle as what Allan said there today.
Absolutely.
But yeah, also the other thing is the seed that falls on good soil, some produce 30, some produce 60, some produce 100. So I know I'm good soil because I love these products. I really love these products, but I'm not producing 100. I'm just trying to get things sort of settled in my life. I need to get a full-time job. So I know I'm not producing 100, but I also know that I love these products and I'm good soil. But
yes.
Anyway.
And you're going to keep sharing, Frances. See, everybody's at different stages in their life. That's what's so amazing. And we support everybody wherever they are in their neo-life journey and in their personal life journey. Okay. So don't ever feel like you're disappointing anybody. That's not who we are. That's not what we do. Because we know everybody has stuff going on in their life. Okay. And sometimes we have to step back and take a break. And I know I've been there. I've been there a few times. I remember when my sister's son was taken from us and I had to go to Windsor and stay with my sister for 5 weeks. And you guys just ran with everything, right? Ran with the meetings, right? And it was like, yeah, I had to step back. But guess what? You guys were there. And when you grow your business to that stage, you can do that. And Frances, you will be at that stage because you're right. You're passionate, you believe in the product, and you won't give up. That's the beauty of this business. We are here to help and support you every step of the way. And I have to say, like, our Canadian team is awesome. Like, I talk to Stephen and Ashley all the time, and they said, we're very unique. We really work like a family. And because we're very fortunate that we are, kind of close, like we could get together quite regularly, which is so, other than you, Ursula, I know you're out in BC, and even Sean, there's a distance, but we still manage to do stuff, right? We're still like connected, which is so powerful. And thank goodness for Zoom. But Jim Rohn, I'm going to send that. You got to watch it. You got to listen to it. It's a powerful YouTube. And like I said, I remember I used to listen to it often, and I kind of forgot about it. And when Allan brought it up, it was like, oh, I got to listen to that again. It was so cool. It was with a Walkman, a CD Walkman. Those days of Walkmans.
So you're going to send that out for us now, because I was going to try and find it.
Yeah. I have it ready to go.
Thank you.
I just didn't want you to listen to it before you jumped on tonight.
Thank you.
need a rule. I sent it to myself in Messenger, so I'm going to send it to you guys in Messenger now. Anybody else? Don't be afraid.
I like
Anything.
when he
Let's
said,
see. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Luz.
yeah, I like when I said, discipline your disappointments. So
Mm.
I'm always disappointed when I'm doing these things. So that's why I don't know how to discipline myself.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It is hard. Sometimes it's hard. Like it's you know, and I think Alan even said it, like we feel so bad when we meet people and we know we can help them. We know we have something to
Exactly.
help them. And we like it's almost like when you're a mom and your kids are doing wrong and you know you can help them, but they don't see that you're trying to help them. You just feel so like torn, right? And that's
Yeah.
because we have such big hearts and we know the products can help people. Or when we see somebody struggling financially, you know, and in this, they don't see this as a way to supplement their income. You know, we feel sad and it does. It's hard. It's really, really hard. But you get better. You get better, Luz, and eventually it'll get easier. It'll never be perfect. And you'll never not have that feeling, because I still have that feeling 35 years later where I feel sad for somebody if they're really struggling and they just don't see what we see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I'll just kind of pop in there for a second.
Hi.
Hi, sorry, it's last day of taxes, so I don't know if everyone got their taxes done. So I was running late. I was in Hamilton. But yeah, I think I offended a friend
Oh.
by talking about health and about being a little bit healthier, and I think they got offended by it.
You know, and you said it out of kindness, right?
Yeah,
And-
absolutely, like almost in a sense that I like really I'm like, geez, like she was going through a Tim Hortons and maybe just maybe just the way it came out.
Oh,
And
I see. I've been there. I've been there. So
Yeah.
one thing we have to be careful with, and I've done that where I've seen something bad in somebody's shopping cart, or I'm at a friend's house and they're making something out of a can. And I remember I had a friend that said to me that she was intimidated whenever I would come over, because if there was a canned good on her counter, she thought that I would judge her. And I had to step back and think, because back then I would still use something out of the can every once in a while. I try not to. I'm not perfect, but that's the way she looked at me. And I realized, wow, like, so I totally get,
Yeah.
you know, so we have to be careful to not come across of insulting people. Right. And
Yeah.
and Tracy, you're new, so I totally understand.
Well,
'Cause
this is someone that I've mentioned it a couple of times, but not, you know what, timing is really important. And honestly, like I'll just share with you, it was she was complaining how tired she was, how absolutely tired, and she's just like so exhausted, and I'm so busy, and talking about busy in such a negative way, and tired and not feeling good. And I just kind of mentioned it in a way, you know, you've got such a busy lifestyle that it would be great to, you know, it would be nice to know if you could supplement with something that can help you with your energy levels and, you know, and overall feel good and feel better instead of, you know, running through the Tim Hortons. And as she was ordering a bagel with cream cheese and a medium coffee with 2 sugars and sweet and low, and I'm like, no, like, and it was almost like I wanted to grab my words back as I heard myself say it. And I just went, oh gosh, like I probably could have left it at, you know, maybe I could show you some stuff, like,
Yes.
and instead of
That's
mentioning
it.
the like
And stop.
At the minute
The-
that she took the fact that she was going through that Tim Hortons drive-through, that I was judging her, that I was criticizing her for making unhealthy choices. And for that reason, like, I haven't heard back from her.
Yeah. And you know what, Tracy, you learned a valuable lesson early in your business, and you know you'll never do that again. And that's the way we learn. I mean, unfortunately, sometimes it takes something like that. But you know what? It wouldn't even hurt when you're ready one day just to apologize. Say, listen, I just want you to know that I'm really sorry if I offended you. And I just really care about you. And I just really wanted to reach out to help you. And that's leave it when you're ready. And you know what?
Oh, I was ready already. Like I was ready already, but I'm like, oh, maybe the wound is still there. Don't pick that scab.
She might come around. If she's a true friend, she'll come around again.
Right. That's the main thing that I keep saying to myself. It's like, well, you know what? A true friend will know that I did not mean that
Sure.
in
Absolutely.
I don't mean that in insulting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I totally get it. I know we've all been there in some way in that where you just, there's a fine line between helping somebody and insulting them for the decisions that they've made. So you're right. If you would have stopped right there before, even though you were dying to tell them not to go to Tim Hortons.
Hey, that's
you
sweet
just
and
gotta-
low.
I know, you just gotta zip it. Just zip it.
Put sugar. I would rather hear you put sugar instead of that sweet and low.
I totally understand. Anyways, that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That is
Patience-
absolutely right. Because we've all been there. And Nata, you said you'll never do that again. No, you might do that again.
Oh, maybe.
You know,
or
so
you,
don't
or
beat
you
yourself
catch
up.
yourself.
Don't beat yourself up. Sometimes it takes more than one.
True.
But something that comes to my mind is, you know, when you're feeling bad, you're carrying this burden now. I can hear it. We've all, because you've shared it, we know that this is still on you, right? And sometimes just being blunt, say, you know, you might not be ready to hear this, but I messed up, you know, and I wish I hadn't. I wish I could have taken my words back. I'm really, really sorry.
Yeah.
Keep it short, keep it simple. I messed up, you know, whatever you want to say.
A banana. I call myself a banana
No,
sometimes.
but
A
it's
banana.
like, and you take what Ashley teaches when she says, take your biggest fear and use it first. So your biggest fear is that she's going to not want to speak to you anymore, or she's going to be, you know, your relationship is going to change with her, and you don't want that. So when you're ready, that's what you want to just lay it out there and get it off you, and it will clear the air.
Because it was full intention, like really, really just wanted to help
Absolutely.
her.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like perfect timing. Like here's someone complaining and like, and I know her. I'm like, oh, you know me, I know you. This is something that could, I think, would do great, would do wonders for you.
I have good friends and I have family members in exactly that category. My own sister, my own brother, like I wish that they could do something, you know, they know what I do. That's the uncontrollable, right? So I keep controlling the controllables, do what I can.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Leonie and then Patience.
I think Patience, was it Patience before me?
Patience first.
Patience, were you before me?
She's
Go
not
ahead.
here.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
she's here. Yes.
Not you.
Okay.
here.
Okay, well,
Um,
all the scenarios that have applied to me, so we all know that. And I used to take it personally, right? Remember, I would say like I would dig and dig and dig and why are you not doing this or this and that? And I would be so afraid that I would have offended that person. Like, what did I do wrong? And I went through all that guilt thing. And then one time I remember you saying one word you said, next. That always says next. That's true, because you can lose your hair. I've lost my hair or over that. But sometimes what happens is they come back. Sometimes it's not when they're so enthusiastic and then something happens. It happens to all of us, right? And the timing's not right. But some of them just give excuses. And I've learned to weed the ones that give constant excuses, and I'll cut them off myself, because you know they are trying to be polite. They're trying to say, you know, they're trying to stave you off, but and by trying to be polite, and I get more blunt, and I'll say, okay, are you interested or not? If that's okay, because they're so afraid to offend you. So you know, we've had those conversations before, and then we go, okay, great, good luck, and there's no hard feelings on both sides, but it's it's a thing that we have to learn how to do. And then sometimes, who knows, that some of them will come back, and some of them are 100% and they give 30%. Things just happen, but it's the numbers game, and you just have to keep plugging along, right? That's all we have to do. That's my take.
Awesome. Thank you, Leonie. Patience, did you have something that you want to talk about?
Yeah,
Alan?
for me, I think what Alan said really spoke to me, because I've been in this business for a long time and I just keep talking. And I won't say not much success, but I know the success is there in the future. And what happens, several people come back to me later with, oh, but Patience, you had this and then that, and oh yeah, and then I talk about it again. And if they're not ready, I've seen many people like Tracy, who I almost talk, but no, I hold back. And they keep on coming back to me. Like last week, I was with some colleagues at work, and one of them was telling me about her mom who has who's now in palliative care because of cancer. And I told her, you should try some of these products. You really need to try them. Actually, I told her that on my mom's birthday. I told her, I really wish, I told her, I'll gift you something. I wish your mom could leave, because today is my mom's birthday and she's not here. So I wish your mom could leave. If you could take this package, I'm good to go with it. So that time she did not take it. This time she took it, and hopefully she'll use it. But I'll keep talking. But there are many people that I've talked to, so I've sowed many seeds, and eventually some of them have come back. Eventually,
Yes,
but
and that's
so
the
I
whole.
still
And Patience, that's the whole meaning behind the sowing and the reaping. And like I said, when you listen to Jim Rohn, I think this is something that I remember listening to it over and over and over again. So sometimes you find something that just helps to keep you in that positive vibration and just gives you that really good feeling. Just go back and listen to it. Love some feedback. Maybe after you've listened to it, just shoot me a message and just share maybe a highlight from what you've learned from Jim. And as far as your 2-minute stories go, did anybody, we listened to a few, can we have maybe one of you share? Has anybody ready? Sean, were you ready? I know you sent me yours. Do you have it ready? Because I know you were practicing. Anybody have it ready? No?
Sorry, I'm
I
not
should
ready.
have told you I was going to pick on you. I should have told you. So I know you sent me yours in an email, but then remember we did some work. Anybody else?
Yeah,
Revise
sorry,
it?
I'll look for it.
Anybody use it this week? The revision? Yuli, have you used the one that you shared last week?
No, I didn't, but I've been attending a mastermind networking group.
Okay.
And at the end of the month, they do a mastermind class.
Okay.
And they shared the host, she shared with us 3 ways we can also build our 2-minute story.
Okay.
And if it's okay with you, I'll be quick. If you don't mind, I would like to share it.
Sure.
So the 3 ways, the first one is why, the second one is pick, P-I-C, and the third one is star. And the idea is, once you've done those 3, and you sort of pull the important things out of it, you come up with something that tells the full story, even if it's business and product. So the why, the W stands for why you're doing it, why you're doing the business. Then the H is to hone your audience. The Y is you must have a compelling message. And then for the pick, it's PIC. The P represents there's a problem and a promise. So what the person has, the customer or the prospect has a problem, but you have a promise to give them something that can help. And the I represents intrigue. So you intrigue the audience with a benefit. And of course, the benefit are our supplements. And the C represents clarity and concise. So when we're sharing, we must remember to be clear with our message and to be concise. The third one, the star, of course, we must all be stars because we must all stand out. and the S represents stand out. The T is target. You need to know your target audience. I know sometimes people say, well, what is your target audience? And you'll say, well, everybody, because we help everybody. On the other hand, sometimes they say, no, you have to narrow it down. I think in our case, we can't really narrow it down because we really help everyone. So the T represents target. The A represents action and advantage. What does my product do to provide an answer, to give an advantage to that person? So our action is sharing the product, and the advantage is what they are the benefit that they're receiving. The R for star is result and recognition. What are the concrete results that we can offer our prospects, our customers? And sometimes you may even want to recognize them, give them something, or they've accomplished. They let's say, for example, they recruited 2 new people. You may want to give them a shaker bottle, so at least it encourages them. And then that was the R. So for each one, you have to try to write a 2-minute story, but try not to be too wordy. So when you pull them all together, it's concise, it's clear, it goes to the specific point. So that's what I'm working on right now. And if you would like me to, anyone would like me to, I'll type it up and send it out to the group. If that's okay with you, Nada. Okay, so that's it.
That was actually really good, you honestly, because sometimes we need to hear it in a different way, right? And that's great. Thank you so much. For sure. Appreciate it. Anybody else have their 2-minute story ready from last week? Okay, maybe next week. We gotta get you guys comfortable sharing, guys, because that's the only way you're gonna get better, by getting out there and talking to at least 3 people a day and sharing your story and adding them to your funnel, and that's how you're gonna get your seeds sowed and harvesting, right? Because that's what we want, right, guys? Especially Sean, what was your challenge what was your goal for Stephen and Ashley when you texted Steve? You're gonna share what you texted him?
Yeah, I actually I had Mike put my bulletin board up, so I've been putting things on it. So Jamaica's on my bulletin board, and then I just wrote stickies. So I'm right now at what am I, executive manager? So I just got over 2,000. And so it gives me anxiety and I'm sweating even thinking about it. But I put director as my goal for May, so I have to double my business. That's why I was going to go talk to people at Shoppers. I gotta find people.
That's an audacious goal. It really is.
Well, you know what? I have probably about 8 or more people that I've invited for tonight's call, and I have someone I'm going to sign up. She can't make it, but she trusts me, so that's the one I have to talk to you about.
Okay, excellent.
So
awesome. Who else texted
You're
Steve?
the one that told me. You're like, you gotta go. You said, I'm like, that's the next level.
I know.
Next level.
That's the only way. I remember when they told me to write down when I was going to quit the police force, and they told me that I had to pick a date. Oh my gosh, that scared the living bejeebies out of me when I picked that date. I was like, yeah, oh, okay, right? That's like a huge accountable thing. And I was like, okay. Anyways, and I did it.
I could pick the date that I'm going to retire, because I'm 4 years from when I'm allowed to retire, because I have to be 55. So that's easy, because then I have to get my benefits and everything. So I have to work 4 more years. So I should have a decent business
4 years
then.
ago, swinging by, you'll be Sapphire director and you say bye-bye. Awesome. Well, listen, I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. And I know some of us have guests coming on at 8 o'clock. So appreciate you all. And if you want to set that goal and send Stephen that text, it's not too late. If you're a manager, just send senior manager in May, right? Just double your business. It doesn't take much to go from 500 to 1,000. If you've been hovering at 1,000, executive manager, right? That'll be just say, Stephen, my goal is executive manager in May. Okay. And I'll tell you right now, if you get to like 1,800 or you get to 800, and you would not have got even that close if you did not text Stephen that goal. Okay? You'll be
Remember,
way, what's that, Heather?
you don't have to do it yourself. Like if I'm an executive manager, so I need to help somebody else get to executive manager, or two managers get to senior manager. 2 managers, a senior manager plus my 2,000, that's 4. So
Mhm.
look at it that way. Don't try to take it all on yourself.
Yeah.
Help other people.
Mhm. Absolutely. Lift others. All right. Thank you. And thank you, Yuli, for sharing. Appreciate you. And we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for joining us, Ursula. Nice to see you. Take care,
Yeah.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.